so you kind of like me, you kind of went through your teens, like not really buying into it, but not delving any deeper. And like you said, who are you going to ask? I mean, there's nobody for most of us.
I didn't even know that.
I envy these younger kids because they have the internet and they can reach out and find a person who believes what they're kind of believing.
I didn't know atheist was. I didn't know there was such a thing.
I didn't know it either. The only time I remember this, if my mom happens to watch, she's going to kill me because she's now very strict Baptist. So I apologize, Mom. But I remember her telling me when I was a young child, again, before I moved to Florida, so I was under 11, about that woman who was going into all the schools and keeping prayer out. And it was, set as this evil woman.
Yeah.
And this was in the 70s, And that was the only time I had any sense that could even be done. Like, I didn't know that was an option,
Yeah, and
I do envy the kids that can ask somebody else. We couldn't do that at our age.
Right, and I believe we kind of touched on this. We had a chat earlier today, you and I. It seems to me that the religious have the opportunity to reinforce everything minimum of once a week. Some churches 2-3 times a week. You go in there, you're preached to, you're proselytized to, you reinforce everything about it. With atheism, you don't get that. And when the religious take gains in government or the worldviews, as we've seen over the last few years, they chip away, and they'll win a court case here that means a little something, and they'll win another court case here that means another little something, and then they'll win a big thing because they've built up this foundation of, oh yes, this is great, we've got to have this, and but if you want to take those things away, atheists are not organized to do that. We're not set up to do that. We have virtually no representation in government. There's just a smattering of them, not nearly the percentage of the population that we represent.
Right.
I believe I read a study that occurred to me that if you see a Muslim on the street, you've passed by, I believe it was 8 atheists, and so maybe somebody can double check that. In this country,
really interesting stat.
In this country,
yeah.
There was they've done this study several times, and I think they count them as the nuns, the non-religious atheists. They put them in a big group.
Right.
So there's like 30-something% is that.
Yeah, and it's a growing subsection.
But there's only Muslims in the country are only 8 or 9%.
Yeah, it's small. So
yeah,
it's funny.
3 to 5 atheists or something by the time you see a Muslim.
I wouldn't doubt it. We're kind of even though here we are on broadcasting to the world, so to speak, but we are relatively quiet compared to other, and I'm going to say minorities, just for lack of a better term that's escaping me, but minority in terms of religions or minority in terms of sexual orientation, anything that is sort of the non-cis male white person is a minority. And so I'm just using that as a term. But you're right. We are relatively quiet because we don't have representation in any significant way.
And to run as an open atheist, even in Chicago.
Even a very liberal town like Chicago.
Yeah, you probably won't succeed.
No, you probably won't get elected dog catcher. You know what I mean? And it's, it is what it is. I've often thought that atheists could take a cue from the LGBTQ community, because, when you and I were young, they were really trying to come out. I mean, obviously we've had gay people just like we've had atheists forever, since we've had people. But the LGBTQ, as we were kids, were coming out. They were still fringe. They were still derided. Well, they still are derided by a lot of people, but it was still pockets. It was in San Francisco and New York and Miami, these cities. But your average small town America, if you were the gay guy in that small town, you were a big problem. They did really, really well over 40, 50 years of going from marching and being vocal to now having the gay marriage and being, I'm going to say, accepted. And please, my gay friends and lesbian friends, don't crucify me for that. But you're still accepted in a sense that you're there. You're available. You can vote. You can not vote, but you can run for office. We got Pete Buttigieg, probably our most well-known, highest level official. And I think, gosh, if atheists could do that same thing, follow that playbook, because we're marginalized like they are in a different way, but it's still marginalized nonetheless. And we don't have representation, which means lobbying doesn't exist really for us,